All right. So, as most of you know, I had a garden this year. It's the first time I've had a garden in my life, never grown vegetables. So, we planted quite a few cucumber plants, and we're noticing that we are getting a whole bunch of cucumbers. So, in order to keep them from going bad, I'm making fridge pickles. Normally, my wife cuts these up, and I make the brine. So she's not here; she's away. So I figured, what the heck? I'll do a little live, and hey, Leo, I'm just doing a live. I'm gonna make pickles with some cucumbers. I've got 3 cucumbers here that have been picked for a while and they're not getting eaten. So we're going to slice up the cucumbers. I've got my mason jars here with my lids. So we are going to first we're going to chop up the cucumbers. Whew. Well, I think that should be all right. They smell like they might have had cinnamon in them. But you know what? So be it. So I know she cubes these. We've already washed these. Wash these cucumbers, so now I'm just gonna cut them up. Try to make them somewhat even. There's those 2, or those ones. Now chop them up, I guess. Put them in a jar. You're supposed to pack these in there really good. I don't know if I get that down low enough. Oop, there we go. So we're just taking the pickles, or sorry, the cucumbers, cubing them up. Oh, I think I'm making them too big or what. Try to make them small enough because we want to make sure that they have enough time to soak in as much of the brine as possible. What kind of food are you going to make? I'm making fridge pickles. Hi, Jive. So we're taking our cucumbers, Leo, and we're dicing them up in cubes. And you pack them in the mason jars. Once I got some jars full, I'm going to fill the jars with brine. And they go in the fridge and they sit for 24 hours before you eat them. So there's one. You got 1 jar. Well, now we get to go and do another one. This one here is a bit skinny. Yes, I washed my hands before I started. I do not have great knife skills, in case anyone's watching. Trying not to cut off my fingers. Kind of food, okay, cool. So forgive me if I don't answer right away if anyone's talking. I'll try to read it, but right now I've got the camera facing down at the cucumbers. So now this one's a little bigger, so we'll cut this one up. I'm gonna tell you, fresh cucumbers out of the garden sure smell good. That's for sure. So these are going to be basically bread and butter sweet pickles. That's what we're going to have here. Second jar. So these, does anyone else have a garden that they get a lot of produce out of? Because I never had a garden before, and it seems to me that you get an awful lot of stuff out of them when you do them right, I guess. Now, I don't know. It's a little brown inside. I don't know. That should be all right, right? Doesn't smell bad. Just on the end. So we cut it that way. Cut it this way. Now we will cut it this way. There we go. What you making? I am making fridge pickles. I think I put it in the description. So I had a little explanation. I planted my first ever vegetable garden this year. And it did really well. And I've got an abundance of cucumbers. And I find I can't go through the, I can't use the cucumbers up fast enough. We're not eating them quick enough. And they start to get soft. So in order to make the most, get the most out of them, I don't usually have enough to make, like, to justify making a full batch of pickles. I am actually making fridge pickles, which, you know, you don't have to boil them and cook them and all that stuff. You basically just make your brine and put it in the jars and then put it in the fridge. You pour the brine over these jars, seal them up, and yeah, or cousin, or maybe he's your dad, I don't know. But it's a quick recipe, and you know, it's easy. And I figured, what the heck, I might make a little video to show. Let's see, what do we got? You know, my grandma makes stuff like that, but she caps them whole, puts them in jars like you with some water, salt, and some other stuff, and I don't know, billions. Oh, okay. You retracted your message. Okay. Well, yeah, there's lots of ways to make them. So this is how I'm going to do them. This is how I've been doing them. And they turn out delicious. I'll show you a jar. Show you a jar of what they look like. So this is a finished jar. This one's ready to eat. Ready to eat these ones. They are good. They turn out really good. So I'm basically using vinegar, white vinegar, sugar, pickling salt, mustard seed, celery seed, and turmeric. And they come out delicious. You can see some of the mustard seed and celery seed in there. They are amazing. They're not dill. We're not doing dill pickles. So we have 3 jars. 1, 2, 3. So move this off to the side. Next we need our saucepan. Would like to use all right, I'll use this one here. All right, we got a saucepan. We've got our Allen's vinegar. We've got our sugar. We'll grab our pickling salt. We've got our turmeric. So we've got our pickling salt, our turmeric, celery seed, and mustard seed. Where did I put the celery seed and the mustard seed? That might be over in the other cabinet. All right, we got our celery seed and our mustard seed. So now we need some measuring cups. We got our 1 cup and we got our half cup here. Yeah, so we got our 1 cup, we got our half cup, and where our little measuring teaspoons are. I don't know where our teaspoons went. Well, there's my tablespoon. Got a tablespoon. There's our tablespoon. And just my little spoons are in here. All right. So I think I'm set. I have all my stuff. I have all the stuff that I need. So now we're going to go with our 2 cups of white vinegar. One. 2. We'll get a napkin and we'll wipe that out. So we don't want to get. There we go. So now we need 1.5 cups of sugar. 1.5 cups of sugar. There's a half. There's 1. There's 1.5 cups. All right, I'll get that sugar out of the way here. Take the sugar away. Let's get rid of this Allen's white vinegar. We'll stick this off to the side. All right, now we need a half a teaspoon of celery seed. Put it right here. So we'll open this up. There's our celery seed. And then we need a half a teaspoon mustard seed. Just like that. Now we need 2 tablespoons of pickling salt. So we got our pickling salt here. There's 1. There's 2. 2 tablespoons of pickling salt, and then a half teaspoon turmeric. And that's all our ingredients for our brine. There we go. And just like that, our brine is ready to go on the stove. Should have turned on the stove top. Get this thing hot. There we go. So, there we go. Now, going to get our pot on. And you guys watch this. Make sure it doesn't boil over, okay? While I clean up a little bit. All right, we're putting away our stuff. Get rid of that. Pickling salt. Turmeric, mustard seed. All this stuff can go up in this cabinet. That's, I don't know, I guess that's where I put a stuff for pickling. And now, throw this stuff in the sink now. Clean this up. Is that boiling yet? I actually got to stir it so that the sugar doesn't burn to the bottom here. It is easy. It is easy, Leo. Way easier than it should be. I didn't know it was that easy to make fridge pickles. Now, I've never made actual pickles. I've never made actual pickles, like boiling them and all that stuff. But these fridge pickles, man, they're quick. It's like there's like 8 ingredients. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ingredients. And of course, cucumbers. So 7 ingredients. We've got. That's our. That's my recipe. 2 cups of white vinegar, 1.5 cups of sugar, 2 tablespoons of pickling salt, 1 teaspoon of mustard seed, half a teaspoon of celery seed, and half a teaspoon. I think I only put in half a teaspoon of mustard seed. So I gotta add a little bit more mustard seed. I definitely only added half a teaspoon. So we'll put another half a teaspoon. So that makes 1 teaspoon. Good thing I read that again. I read it out loud. I shorted myself on the mustard seed. My gosh. You can't short yourself on the mustard seed. The mustard seed is the most important ingredient. Now it says to bring this to a simmer over medium heat. I don't do medium heat. I do full blast all the way. We hammer the heat. Get this thing on the go. Don't want to be here all day, do we? Just like that. I think my sugar's pretty much dissolved. Oh yeah, she's starting. She's starting. Okay, let's come and bring this back over here. All right. All right, there we go. Yeah. So I'm very messy when I pour this stuff, so I'll use a funnel to pour this liquid into the jars. If I can find the funnel. There was a funnel here somewhere. Whoa! Boiling, you guys forgot to tell me. All right. So that's all you're supposed to do. Just bring it to a simmer, slow simmer. All right. So now, where's my funnel? Do I have a funnel? There used to be a funnel here. I'm going to spill half my... I'll end up spilling half the brine. Oh, where are we at here? Could find that other pot. There it is. This one I can pour with. we'll dump this into this. Right. So there we go. There's our brine. Looks pretty good. So let's try not to spill any. All right. There's one. There's two. Just like the count off Sesame Street. One, two, And there's three. So, the last thing I do here, because, you know, when you dump the juice in there like that, you'll see that I got more mustard seeds in the first couple that I made. So I go and I just, mustard seeds like to float, so I scoop a few mustard seeds and spread them over to some of the other jars. Try and get all my mustard seeds a little bit spread out here in each one of these jars. There we go. There. I'll give it a little more broth on that one. Or a little more brine. There we go. I think we're good. I think we're good. So those are hot. Now, the recipe says that you don't lid them yet because they're not traditional shelf-stable pickles. They're refrigerator pickles. So they'll keep for 4 to 5 weeks in the refrigerator. You don't leave them out on the shelf. You don't do anything like that. So the recipe just says to cover them until they cool for 30 minutes and then lid them and put them in the fridge. And then they're ready to eat in 24 hours. So there you have it. All right. There we go. Those are our fridge pickles. Yeah. No, these are fridge pickles. I don't know if you're still watching, Ace, but these are our pickles that we have an abundance of cucumbers in our garden, and in order to get rid of the cucumbers and make them so that they last longer, we jar them. We pickle them and jar them, but they're not the full meal deal. They're not full pickles. They're quick pickles, basically. And they are delicious. So 3 more jars for the fridge. Anyways, if you stayed for the whole thing, I know only one of you did, Leo. Thanks. And you know, if you have any good recipes, drop them in the comments. Something I can do. I wonder if this would work with beans. Yeah, at least you did not blow up everything like I did with the pickled herring. Yeah, well, I'm not trying to jar anything. I'm just trying to preserve it for a little bit longer. These cucumbers tend to start going soft in a couple of days in the fridge. So in order to keep them from going soft and being inedible, basically, I am actually taking them and jarring them and making pickle jars of pickles. And I better turn off the stove. Just like that. Cool. Well, thanks for watching. Don't bring the cat over here. Huh, he's got the cat around where I'm cooking.
It's only Shuffy.
It's only Shuffy.
So he's alive.
So, all right. NBRiderOne, outie.